Today I'll be summarizing and sharing my thoughts on the Zenless Zone Zero version 2.7 special program. There were so many things to talk about. For this program, the Angels of Delusion had a cute interview section talking more about Nangong, so if you want to see that, then you can watch the program for yourself. I'll mainly just be covering the new info we got with Mr. Z and Cissia, although the Angels did come back later in the program to also share news. The last 5 minutes of the program was dedicated to a very big lore bomb of a trailer featuring Tops. I'll be covering that at the end as well. First up, here's the redemption code for the program. Enter Miss Hiss in the in-game redemption section to get 300 polychromes. This section actually had some other news tucked in, so we'll see it again later. On to the 2.7 story and other tidbits. There are many things I want to discuss, so feel free to skip ahead if you're not interested. For those who have been paying attention to the in-game internet post, as well as the actual in-game events in Lumina Square, you already knew that ZZZ is having a tournament arc. In the ZZZ world, the Dangerous Hollow Champion Tournament is being held by the Hollow Extreme Athletics League, or HEAL for short. Their goal is to inspire the people's confidence in fighting back against the Hollows. The Hollow Champion Tournament is quite serious though, because not only does it involve fighting ethereals, but the participating heroes can also fight each other to take each other's points. This year, the tournament is being sponsored by Rusty Cliff Corporation, which is one of the members of Tops. We've encountered this organization before because the head of Rusty Cliff is Edmund, who was the one affiliated with the Ravenlocks. Last year, Hugo's uncle, Hartman Ravenlock, tried to gain favor with Edmund/Tops to restore the Ravenlock name. Hugo messed this up by negotiating with Edmund directly, and this caused Edmund to basically throw Hartman under the bus. Back to the tournament, thanks to Rusty Cliff's generous backing, one of the top prizes is a Flint Porceloid W engine. From Internet posts, this W engine is being described as a legendary, cross-generation armament for intelligent constructs. Not only that, but the tournament competition gear apparently looks like a Starlight Knight's Transmorpher. Why is this important? Because we know an intelligent construct who is a fan of the Starlight Knights, and we know he had quite a reputation back in the day. I don't think they even acknowledged him at all, besides saying the Cunning Harriers are participating in the tourney, but Billy is shown in the trailer and on the main story artwork. Since the launch of the game, if you've done Billy's Trust events, there have been huge implications that he was much stronger in the past, and we eventually did learn he was the previous champion of the Caledon gang. They've been throwing a lot of hints at a potential S-rank Billy for a while now. Now, while Soldiers or Ambi kinda just got dropped in us out of nowhere, this time I would be more surprised if we didn't get an S-rank Billy ult very soon. I do wonder if the entire Cunning Harriers gang is gonna appear for this tourney, or is Silly Billy going solo for this one? Let's continue with more new info. In the outer ring area where the tournament is being held, faded ethereals have appeared and Cissia is being sent to investigate. We didn't really learn anything about Cissia's involvement with Severian and the police, but from our current interactions, it seems pretty clear that she's not a typical cop. As for the mysterious Promia, I think Mr. Z has confirmed she's the executioner of Krampus. It appears Cissia and Promia do not have the best relationship, and it does look like Promia will be entering the competition for whatever secretive reasons Krampus has to get involved. Also, in case you were concerned, I think it's 99% confirmed Promia will be a playable character. One of the upcoming Drive Disc sets looks a little too familiar. As for new NPCs, Internet had a clear image of a very menacing looking dude called the Black Wolf Fixer. Mr. Z called him Romuel, and we learned he was a previous member of the Caledon gang. After Caledon dissolved, this dude seemed to go on to do very not nice things, and now has to hide as an underground mercenary. I would assume Billy will have to confront this dangerous looking dude. Romuel is going to be an upcoming boss. From what Mr. Z said, it does sound like he's going to be another anomaly focused boss with a new shield mechanic. Like usual, they didn't address everything in the trailer, but I like to go over interesting things shown off. First, if you completed the main 2.6 story, then at the very end we saw these two characters. Norma's the short one, Valina is the tall one. They were investigating the place where we faced the Creator's nightmare, and discovered that the Creator's vessel was made of Flint Porceloid. They tried to talk to Xiaoguang about it, but Yishuan turned them away, so instead they're going to be trying to talk to Bell and Wise. Besides possibly also entering the competition, some astute people think Norma and Valina are the two figures in this picture of Lady Sunbringer. That leads to some very interesting implications that these two are probably part of Marcel Group, which is Sunbringer's faction. Speaking of the sun, the very end of the trailer had a very ominous shot of golden arms and what I assume were Wise and Bell saying, "We, Phaethon, Icarus," all of that cut off. It then cuts to black, and I'm not sure it's still Wise and Bell, but the voices then say, "Tell them I've already seized the sun. No clue what has happened, but there is a separate earlier shot of Belle with her eye implants becoming golden, like in the 2.5 main story. Last thing, we have, I believe, a new character. No name, no mention at all, but this pink-haired lady is in the trailer. She's in the main story artwork, and she's most likely the one in the cloak way over there in the back. What makes this lady so interesting are her wings and striking resemblance to the OG Void Hunter, the unnamed leader of the Falkenheim mercenary troop. Shoulder-length pink hair, bangs over the left eye, pointed elf-like ears, purple eyes with white diamond pupils. The only thing majorly different is that her wings are dark, while the Void Hunter's is white. Are they the same person, or is this like a descendant? Now, it seems like this lady will have a decent part in the main story, so we'll find out very soon. However, this pink-haired girl is definitely a major player in whatever the next major story arc ends up being after the tourney. Moving on, let's talk about the new agents releasing in 2.7. I'm honestly not sure if they're involved in the upcoming story at all, but Nangong Yu is being released to complete the Angels of Delusion team. She is an S-rank Ether Stunner who's tailored to helping Arya get into the stun phase so the Angels can lay down big bloom procs. It was expected, but yes, Nangong will join Cinna's selfie pick and Arya's plunge attack animations. She has her own during animations where all three flop into the ground. In general, Nangong has some very fun moves with her dual-wield Morning Stars, although they're more like retractable flails if you ask me. In combat, Nangong's unique resource is called Down Beats, which recover over time and when anyone triggers an anomaly. She can use Down Beats to do a 3-part charge attack, which inflicts big days, extends the stun timer, and increases Nangong's own anomaly buildup. Nangong can skip to her second charge attack after an EX special, and it seems like you can use EX specials at any time in between the charge attacks without interrupting them. From her ultimate, Nangong is able to trigger Etherville Delusion, so that's another source for Arya. For other perks, Nangong buffs anomaly buildup rate for all allies versus stunned foes, and this is further increased for chain attacks. If you trigger a bloom, disorder, or an anomaly during a stun, that enemy will get in vibrato. After enough vibrato stacks, Nangong can trigger an extra bloom herself. In addition, when a foe is stunned, Nangong gets 2 dance prowess stacks, which are the 2 dots on her resource bar. Nangong's EX special and charge attacks consume these to trigger polarity disorder. Very interesting for potential Miyabi teams, and for the teams with Arya, it did seem like Nangong joins the plunge attacks, she would trigger these disorders automatically. To summarize, Nangong is an anomaly-focused stunner. Her 3-part charge attack can extend the stun timer and improve her own build-up rate. During stuns, Nangong can trigger bonus blooms and polarity disorders while also increasing her team's anomaly build-up. All in all, very interesting, but also very specialized. It doesn't seem like Nangong would be best for attack or ruptured agents, and can she beat Yuzuha or other attack buffers in the double anomaly teams? Obviously, Nangong completes the Angels of Delusion single anomaly DPS team, but who else can really capitalize on extra stun phases like Arya? To be fair, we are about to get another anomaly agent, so keep an eye out. With that said, Cissia is not an anomaly agent. Instead, Cissia is our 5th electric attacker, the 4th S-rank one. She is, however, the first agent from the Metropolitan Order Division. I don't know how her spear turns into a forked whip, but Rule of Cool says it not to question it and just move past it. In battle, Cissia's unique resource is called Venom, which appears to be consumed automatically to inflict a damage over time attack on the enemy. When this happens, Cissia gets a crit rate buff. To replenish Venom, Cissia can use her EX special, and she can expend extra energy to get more Venom back. Chain attacks and ultimates also give Venom, and it wasn't talked about, but the text blurb stated that Cissia triggers Etherville cold-blooded when using ultimates. No idea what that does. Now, instead of waiting for Venom to trigger on its own, Cissia can launch a special Dive Bomb basic attack to expend Venom for bonus damage. That was kinda all they said about Cissia's kit. They were super vague, so it's kinda tough to judge how she will stand out from other electric attackers. Thankfully, the 2.7 infographic gives us a teeny bit more info. Cissia provides damage and support in her kit. Venom has Deep and Shred. Cissia increases the whole squad's crit damage, and we still don't know what Etherville Cold-Blooded does. At the very least, this gives us a slightly better picture of what Cissia is trying to do. It doesn't seem like she must be used with another attacker like Seed, but Cissia is another option for double attack teams. Considering she is electric, the assumption is that Cissia could be Seed's true best Vanguard pick. There are more signs to support that, but I do think you could play Cissia solo. On to the 2.7 banners. In Phase 1, we're getting Nangong with her signature dummy engine, Neon Fantasies. Her rerun partner is Yidhari, who is a fun Rupture DPS, and the rate up 4 stars are Nicole plus Piper. Phase 2 will feature Cissia with her signature Serpentine Seeker. Seeing that Seed is her rerun partner, it does seem to send an intentional message as to who they want you to pair Cissia with. Seed buffs Cissia, Cissia buffs Seed. If you like unusual team comps, Seed very much enables some of the stranger combinations of agents. As for the rate up 4 stars, you can get Poker and Ben. If you don't have anyone else, Poker can be used for off-field stunning for this type of duo. If you would like to spend monochromes, then Nangong is getting her own unique outfit like the other angels. This purple and black outfit is a fun contrast to her white angel uniform. As a reminder, if you get any of the Angels of Delusion members, you can earn bonus in-game items. This includes a sidebar pendant, a sidebar theme, and if you get all 3 angels, you get the first full faction wallpaper. All of these bonuses are permanent, so if you get Suna, Arya, or Nangong later, you can still join the fun. Interestingly, they didn't have a section to talk about the upcoming EPs and teasers for Nangong and Cissia. Instead, they were part of the slides for the redemption code break. Just in case you missed it, we have Nangong's demo and EP upcoming, which was teased very shortly during the interview section. Cissia will also have a demo plus teaser. Our officer appears to have gotten herself arrested. Next, let's talk about the 2.7 events. As usual, there will be a login bonus for 10 encrypted master tapes and 10 boupons. As promised by the devs, the Simmer Hot Pot in Lumina Square is finally opening for a playable event. Apparently, Nangong is friends with the owner Blaze, who I thought I had seen before somewhere. According to the wiki, Blaze wasn't named until a trust event in Season 2, but from way back before launch, there was a promotional poster with some of the shops in Lumina Square. She added a hairpin, but you can see Blaze's design has technically been around for a while now. I'm not entirely sure how the minigame works, but you gotta pick and choose different ingredients, I guess to create higher scoring food combinations. As part of the rewards, there will be a new A-rank W engine to obtain, so don't miss out. Next, the Special Disaster Control Squad event is a new combat event with 3 teams of 2 agents. The catch is that you will be able to tag out to the next team mid-battle. Agent energy will be retained, but decibels will be shared between your squad. This event will have a title based on ranking. Next, Old Friends, New Commissions is quite literally just new commissions with old friends. Fight with old acquaintances, and we'll get to see more of Premiere during this event as well. Adventure Footage Freeze Frame is a return to the simple picture puzzle event. I don't think I caught that performance at 404 before. Now, for completing this event, you can get a unique name card. Next, Charge Battle Against the Negative Reviews features a Bang Boo who is review bombing various businesses. Yuzaha's Mystic Wares shop has been caught in the fire, and I'm not sure what the event actually is, but I'm sure it's just a silly slice of life event. Next, we have news on our usual content updates. If you haven't seen the warning, the Battle Tower is getting updated next version, so if you want any rewards from the current iteration, then you got about a week and a half to get on that. I don't think there's anything majorly different, but they are giving new scoring methods tailored to recently released agents. Like the current round, you can get name cards and titles based on your progression, but obviously you're going to have to start from the first floor since we're getting all new enemies to fight against. Continuing, Sheer Defense and Deadly Assault will get updated as per usual, but it appears they're adding the same ranking system as getting 9 stars in Deadly Assault. If you get S rank on the 5th Shield section, you can compare with other players, but obviously there's no extra rewards, it's just for good old glory. In version 2.7, we're getting 2 new drive disc sets. Bunny in Wonderland is a 2-piece set for HP, which is interesting for Rupture agents, but the 4-piece bonus is exclusively for defense agents. When defense agents use an EX special, or anyone triggers Perfect Assist, the team gets a 6% damage buff stacking 3 times and lasting for 25 seconds. Stacks decay one at a time, and the entire duration will refresh when you gain or drop a stack. The biggest issue for defense agents, besides a clear-cut identity, is that they did not really have a lot of good drive disc sets. Bunny in Wonderland is an alternative to Protopunk's Perfect Assist Focus, except the damage buff lasts 2.5 times longer. It also has an 18% damage buff versus 15%, but the catch is that you have to stack Bunny in Wonderland 3 times. Fortunately, thanks to the much longer timer and activating on your defense agent's EX special cast, this set should be a very good generalist buffing set. It seems like the Moonlight Lullaby, but for the defense class. Sadly, 4 of the 5 defense agents don't really care about HP. That's pretty much just a bonus for Zhao. Next, Notes from the Chained is interesting. The 2-piece buffs ice damage. The 4-piece states when the equipper triggers a bloom, they gain 48 anomaly proficiency for 30 seconds. When the equipper triggers freeze, they gain 16% anomaly and disorder damage for 30 seconds. Huh, so we have one ice anomaly agent who is technically a unique frost anomaly, but Miyabi gets any ice-related effects. She could use this set, but Branch and Bladesong fits Miyabi's unique need for crit stats. Well, based on the design, notes from the chains would appear to be made for Promia. Unless we're getting baited, this should hint that Promia will be our first actual ice anomaly agent. She's gonna have a blooms, and well, obviously she'll trigger freeze, otherwise that defeats the purpose of being an anomaly agent. It should be noted that anomaly damage and disorder damage are not the same bonus as regular percent damage like Bunny in Wonderland or the 2-piece 10% ice damage. Those are separate multipliers, which is good, so this disc set is fairly unique. I'm curious if Promia will be able to tag team with Miyabi, or perhaps she may prefer stunners like Aria. That would be interesting for those getting Nangong, but we'll have to wait and see. If you want to farm these new disc sets, or just materials in general, we're going to be having the usual double drop events throughout the update. Next, we have some small optimizations. Commonly edited sections of the name card are being listed at the bottom for easy access. For titles at multiple phases, you can pick and choose which to display. These are for the ones with rankings. Not shown, but listed in the infographic, W engines can now be sorted by name. And that's it for quality of life changes. Continuing, pre-orders for physical collector's editions of ZZZ for the PS5 and Xbox are now open. This set includes limited exclusive collectibles, including a standee, acrylic cards, photo card sets, badges, postcards, and an in-game redemption code. I don't think they said what the code gives, so you have to wait for more news. So technically, that was the end of the special program. However, the last 5 minutes showed a brand new ZZZ Chronicles trailer called Three-Pronged Pact. I'm no lore expert, but let's try to talk about this teaser. First off, 3 TOPS members are having a roundtable meeting with the aliases of Lead Scepter, Tin Crown, and Copper Ring. These make up the 3 Pacts. Copper Ring is Edmund, the head of Rusty Cliff, who just so happens to be coming back in the spotlight as the tournament sponsor. Tin Crown's position is represented by the woman from Miyabi's teaser. She was a TOPS advisor, although I don't think we have any more info about her. As for Lead Scepter, I don't think we've seen this dude, but correct me if you have the answer for that. Interestingly, this meeting appears to be led by some kind of AI or robotic entity. Not sure it's one of the 4 great AIs like Fairy or Yokai, but it could just be a general assistant. Now, there is also the head, who has left a warning before they fell asleep, whatever that means. Basically, they warn that when Hollow Zero shifts, the Bell of Doom will ring. Apparently, that has just happened, which has led to this meeting of the 3 Pacts. I'm not sure of the timeline, but this event has already occurred in-game, or is about to happen. On Internet, there's a post about abnormal Hollow Zero activity where a dude noticed patterns on the surface of the Hollow. Clearly, a teaser for this event. Back to the meeting, the 3 factions are voting on what to do next. The Tin Crown isn't worn by the lady because she talks about her master, who I assume is the actual head of her organization. She mentions this master anticipated the creator's return, and this faction's decision is rebirth. Edmund mentions that they're using sacrifices, so perhaps Tin Crown has ties to the Exaltus, and there goes more. Edmund's goal seems to be focused on recruiting Void Hunters that only obey the TOPS. This is fun because, see, the Void Hunter title is given by the mayor. TOPS and the mayor clearly have a power struggle as New Eridu's governing forces. During 2.5, we saw TOPS sending forces, including Krampus, to try and get the Qingming sword. Zhao ended up disobeying that order, and we did learn that Krampus's boss wasn't upset with that decision. The boss stated that TOPS is focusing on the Void Hunter weapons, which we confirmed have direct ties to the creator. Lead Scepter seems to imply that with the creator's return, the Void Hunter weapons will be drawn into conflict. We get shots of Xiaoguang and Miyabi sensing that their weapons are reacting to whatever is happening in Hollow Zero. I think they are definitely signaling that besides the creator and or TOPS, one of the future antagonists may just be a Void Hunter themselves. At the very least, it's probably going to be someone with another one of these cursed powerful weapons. Getting back on track, Tin Crown wants rebirth, while Copper Ring wants stars or Void Hunter level allies. Lead Scepter wants to conquer the isolated island for TOPS' dominion. Okay, so during version 2.5, Lockspring mentioned that they are from a floating island utopia called Rascalifer, which was led by Lady Sunbringer. It would appear this utopia still exists, although where is it would be the next question. The next part of the trailer is pretty crazy because the 3 factions seem to vote on 3 different plans, and I guess it's up to this AI or whatever to make a decision. Well, Mr. Lead Scepter pulls a fast one because he appears to now be working with yokai, who rigs the vote in favor of his plan. I'm not sure where they will fit in, but Krampus's boss seemed adamant that they are only loyal to Tops. Their entire reason for existing is to stop the various Tops factions from breaking the rules of the Alliance, and well, it's clear that Lead Scepter's doing just that. Whatever happens next, it's clear that while Hollow Zero is in chaos, Tops is now going to be trying to chase after Ruscalifer at the trickery of Yokai and Lead Scepter. Lead Scepter also talks about using the final legacy of the Helios Academy, which is obviously Bell and Wise's implants. Now, before the last section, there is a focus on Hollow Zero's activity with a cloaked figure. This figure is the pink-haired girl from before. We can't see her wings, but the trailer's thumbnail is of her eyes and bangs, plus she's got the same collar and ring accessory as shown in the 2.7 trailer. Considering her close appearance to one of the original Void Hunters, that's definitely no coincidence with her being the focus here. I don't want to jump to conclusions until we meet her, but dark wings are generally associated with fallen angels. Maybe it's the same character, but she could easily be a descendant like Miyabi. That said, the pink-haired Void Hunter was also the thumbnail for that old lore video. Makes you wonder just how important she is, because she was the only one we still don't have a name for. Alrighty, let's wrap it up there. If you want to learn more details about the Hollow Champion tournament, you should head over to Lumina Square in-game during the day. I'm not sure if it's every day, but there's a booth with organizers giving out info, and the main billboard is also advertising the event. Also, check out the Intronaut post in-game. There were a whole lot of neat teases leading up to this. That's all I have for now. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.